All right. Okay. Well, everybody, welcome to the Rocky Mountain Miracle Center. Hi, guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thanks for coming out, bringing your beautiful bodies out on this gorgeous day when you could be out playing because it's like, this spring is here. It's in Colorado, it's such a miracle, The winters are so long in Colorado that when spring comes, everybody's like, oh my God, I thought it'd never come. And welcome you guys who are online. Welcome to the Rocky Mountain Miracle Center Course in Miracles class on Sundays. And let's just take a couple of minutes and just breathe and feel the spirit and be the spirit and all that kind of stuff that feels so good to do after you've been doing all the stuff that you need to do to get somewhere. All the driving and the dressing and all that stuff. I'm talking about the driving and the dressing. Women really know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the dressing. It's like, it's like, oh my God, I need a whole hour to get ready. Guys take 5 minutes. It's like, girls are like, okay, I need a whole hour. Okay. All right. So go ahead and close your eyes and take a breath. Oh, yeah. Just let everything go. It's not happening right here, right now. Just allow our minds to come back home to the right now, the holy instant. And just notice how good it feels to just rest into the present moment, letting everything go. What does this moment now feel like? Just being here right now, what does that feel like? What does it feel like to let the past go, realizing that it's gone? And what does it feel like to let the future go, knowing that the future's in the hands of God? What does it feel like to be in the present moment where everything is happening, where all possibilities for good exist? What does it feel like to be in the present moment where all joy, all healing, all inspiration, all peace is waiting for you, just waiting to envelop you, to give you what your Creator's already given you forever, without cost? What does that feel like? And breathe that feeling in. And tell yourself, peace is my natural state. Happiness is my natural state. Peace and happiness is my Creator's will for me. It's natural for me to feel happy and peaceful right now and lasting forever. So let's just be natural for a moment. That's what it really means to be yourself. And tell yourself, happiness created me happy. Peace created me peaceful. In this holy instant, I choose to be myself, happy and peaceful. Beautiful. And then when you're ready, take a breath, open your eyes, bring your awareness back. Yeah, very nice. All right, guys. How's that feel to just be natural for a minute? I didn't know what it meant to be natural, to be myself before A Course in Miracles. I really didn't. I thought to be stressed out and afraid and anxious was natural. How about you? Boy, was I surprised. Boy, was I surprised. All right. So we are going to be in the workbook today, lesson 109. And I titled this class today, what did I title it? I titled it, it'll come to me, I forget right now. But today's, here's what I titled. I titled it Quietness Unshaken, or Unshaken Quietness. So this lesson, to me, is one of the most valuable lessons in A Course in Miracles in experiencing an unshakable peace, even in the turmoil of the world. Okay. Does that sound practical? Oh, thank you very much. No, it's not. Thank you. Thank you. That's what I need to do right now. Okay. All right. Hallelujah. Thank you, Carla. I need to make a little note for myself. Okay. Okay. So this lesson enables us to experience a quietness unshaken by whatever's going on in the world, and enables us to experience stillness in the midst of turmoil. Now, has anybody noticed any turmoil going on in the world? Anybody? No. Any turmoil in your life? Yeah. So that's the value of today's lesson. It is reminding us that no matter what kind of turmoil there may be going on in the world, and by the way, have you noticed that there's always turmoil going on in the world? So you might notice that our species has been at war since recorded human history. Has anybody ever noticed that? Yeah. So it's not just the current administration, it's the ego world that is born of clashing dreams. The ego world is a thought of conflict. It is a thought of war. It is the turmoil that we experience when we deny our union with our source, which is love. And when we deny the union that is reality with all of creation, there's the only thing that you can experience is turmoil. That's it. Fear, death, turmoil. If you're going to deny your eternal union with your source, then that means what you have to experience is the opposite of God. And the opposite of God is death and turmoil. So the turmoil that we're experiencing and the conflict is not happening from what seems to be happening. I'm not upset for the reason I think. Our world is not at war and in conflict for the reason we think. And so we're going to hear about what is the way to experience lasting peace, even in a world of clashing dreams and turmoil? That's what we're going to hear about today. And what could be more practical than that? What could be more? You mean I could be peaceful even here, even with what all's going on? Okay. You got me, course. All right. That's what I'm all about. How do I experience peace and stillness and safety, even when there's a lot of turmoil going on in the world, just like there's always been going on in the world? Okay. All right. So I rest in God. Beautiful. It says, we ask for rest today. Anybody need some rest unto your soul? We're asking for rest today, and we're asking, what is rest? What is rest? Rest is quietness unshaken by the world's appearances. That's what rest is. That I know, I see that there's a lot of turmoil going on. All the appearances tell me I should be scared out of my friggin' mind, right? That's what the appearances of the world tell me. I should be scared to death right now. I should not have one instant of peace looking at what's going on in the world. I shouldn't have any peace. I should have anxiety from the moment I wake up to the moment I go to sleep, if I was judging by the world's appearances. But rest is having a quietness unshaken by the world's appearances. We ask for peace and stillness in the midst of all the turmoil born of clashing dreams. So where's the turmoil in the world come from? It comes from clashing illusions. That's where all the clashing lies.
My illusion is
This religion's lies are clashing with this religion's lies, and this government's lies are clashing with this government's lies, and my lies are clashing with your lies. That's where all the turmoil comes from. Lies fighting. Illusions fighting with other illusions. Okay. But even though we live in a world where there's lots of illusions that are at war with other illusions, we are asking for rest and peace and stillness, even still. That's what we're asking for today. All right.
Anna, can I interrupt you for a second? Will you check your Facebook? Because it looks like you've been off.
I see your Facebook thing, but yes, I'll check.
Because I can't comment anymore, so.
I am, let me check this again. Okay, it says I'm public on Facebook.
Okay.
Okay. And I see your comment.
Right, but then you disappeared. It's not showing up anymore for me.
Well, that makes sense for my classes. Yes,
What it does.
exactly. Okay. And I'll check oh no, I can't do that. I can't do that. Okay.
It's gonna be where it is.
That's just gonna be where it is. I'm gonna rest anyway.
That's right.
I'm gonna do something radical and have peace anyway, even if my technology is, doing what ego does with my technology. Anybody ever knows that the ego can use your technology just as much as spirit can use your technology? Anybody knows that? Okay. I have. All right. So it seems like maybe we're asking for a lot, but we're going to ask for a little bit more. We're going to ask for safety, and we're going to ask for happiness, even though we seem to look on danger and on sorrow. Anybody notice some danger and sorrow going on in the world?
Yeah.
And according to this, there's a way for us to experience safety and happiness even still. Now, is that good news?
Good.
That's some serious good news. Okay. This is the way that you experience safety and happiness, even though you look on danger and sorrow, is the first thing you do is you ask for it. And it sounds radical, but you go, is there a way for me to experience safety and peace, even though right now I am looking on some danger and some sorrow? Is there a way? There's got to be a better way. Is there a way to have peace even here, no matter what's going on? So the first step is we're going to ask for it. Okay. And it says, and we're asking for it, and we have the thought that will answer our asking with what we request. Wow. Okay. We asked for it, and we've heard there's an answer. There's a way to experience peace and safety and stillness and happiness, no matter what kind of suffering and sorrow and war and disease and disaster is happening in the world. Does that sound too good to be true?
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. I know. That's why it seems to take so long to accept the simple truth and be happy. Doesn't it seem like it takes a long time to be happy? And it's not like that you got to work for happiness. It's not like you got to earn it. It just takes so long for us to go like, that seems too good to be true, and I don't have to do anything for it. Right, that's what takes a long time. That's why happiness and peace seems to take a long time. Well, we could just go, that does sound right, and I do want that. And even though I have no idea what that means or how to accept that, I say yes. We could do that. All right. So we have the idea that will answer our request for safety and peace, even though we look on sorrow and suffering. And what is that thought? I rest in God. That's the thought. I rest in God. I rest in God. Now, we don't know what that means. By the way, we don't know what it means to rest in God, but we're going to hear, it's going to teach us what that means and why it is that when you rest in God, then you are still able to experience stillness, peace, happiness, and joy and safety, no matter what kind of turmoil and war is going around. Okay? Okay. He says, this thought, I rest in God, will bring to you the rest and quiet, peace and stillness, and the safety and the happiness that you seek. Wow. I rest in God. This thought, I rest in God, has the power to wake the sleeping truth in you. Mm-hmm. Whoo. Where's that truth? It's sleeping in me and having some bad dreams and drooling with crazy hair. That's where the truth is in me. It must be sleeping, because if the truth was awake in me, I would be experiencing only peace and safety and stillness and happiness, no matter what was going on in the world or in my life. You know, the only reason I'm not experiencing total happiness right now, no matter what's going on, is because the truth is asleep in me. That's why. Okay. But this idea, this statement has the power to wake the sleeping truth in you, even if you don't understand the statement. I don't know what that means to rest in God. Even if you don't understand it, even if you don't welcome it, even if you don't accept it, and even if you resist that statement, saying it has the power to wake the sleeping truth in you. The truth in you knows that you're not a body. The truth in you knows that you don't have to worry about death and deprivation and attack and loss or any of that. The truth in you knows that you are a spirit, that you are deathless, that you are timeless, and that you have everything because you are everything. That's what the truth in you knows. So it's not worried. It's not scared. It's not upset. It's not anxious. It's not depressed. So we are waking the sleeping truth in us that knows the truth, that knows the way to be happy and peaceful and safe no matter what's going on. That sound like a good thing to do? I want to wake the sleeping truth in me. Now, the truth in us, its vision sees beyond appearances to that same truth in everyone and everything there is. That's what the truth in us knows. That's what the truth in us sees. It's like, truth in us is like, well, you know, the truth is true for everyone and everything there is, which is only spirit. deathless, sinless, guiltless, eternal. That's what the truth in us knows. That's what it sees. Wow, isn't that good to know that that's in there somewhere? I thought that what was within me was so black with sin that I was afraid to look within. I was afraid that if I looked within, I would see, that I was a devil. That's what we learned. Don't look within. You better not look within. Because what you see, if you look within, what your eyes look upon will fill you with horror, and people will recoil from you as if from a poisonous snake. That's what we were taught was within us. Can you believe that? That's what we were taught. We were taught if somebody could see the truth in you, they would recoil from you as if from a poisonous snake. And of course, as we're afraid to look within because we believe that we've made a devil of ourselves. And so I don't want to look within. I'm afraid to look within. But what this is telling us is, contrary to what you believed was within you, what's within you is the truth that knows that and sees that and experiences only safety and peace and stillness, no matter what kind of crazy turmoil is going on around us. Well, I'm so glad to know that that's really what's inside of me. That's a big relief. Now, this idea, I rest in God, here is the end of suffering for all the world and everyone who ever came to the world and everyone who will yet come to the world to linger for a while. That's funny. That's what people do here on earth. They linger for a while and then they leave. What you're going to do? I'm going to go linger in the world in a body for a little while, and then I'm going to leave and I'm do something else. He says that's what we're doing in the world, lingering for a while.
And you decided it says no loitering.
Exactly. No lingering. Just lingering. You still here? You still lingering around? It's funny. Says, and I rest in God is the thought in which you are born again to recognize yourself. Okay, what does it mean to be born again? Does it mean to confess your sins? I confess I'm a sinner. No. That's not what it means to be born again. To be born again means you finally recognize yourself. You recognize yourself. Like you used to know yourself, but you don't know yourself anymore. So when you're born again, you're like, oh, I'm actually innocent. I forgot. Silly me. I recognize myself as innocent, as sinless, as a spirit. Okay. That the I rest in God is a thought in which you are born again to recognize yourself. All right, so I'll take a breath. Any thoughts, questions? Yes, buts. Yes, but what about you know who?
So this has been a consistent theme that has been coming up, right? Is how do we show up in this world of chaos?
Right.
Like literally over the last 4 years, last teaching, mine, mammals, and then now here's again, have all come to this. How do we in this world of chaos show up? And the underlying theme has been safely, right? How are we showing up safely?
Yes. How do we show up safely?
And so, safety and happiness, and of course, no coincidence that the earlier lessons 101 and 102, right, were about God's will for me is happiness. So as you're reading this, I'm like, well, then it says, what's the tool? Always look for the tool. The tool is rest. I rest in God. How do I become safe? I rest. How do I become happy? I rest. And we live in a world that doesn't have rest.
That's exactly right. Exactly. And thank you for saying that, because that's what Spirit was showing me earlier when I was going through the lesson earlier. It was like, well, what does it mean to rest? What does that mean? It means I trust. I trust that what God created is all there really is. And so I really don't need to worry about what God didn't create. War, turmoil, conflict, death. I rest, and God is like, only what God created is true. Only what love created is real. Only that is true. And everything else is just a bad dream that I'm dreaming. Everything else is just what I made up. And so, to rest in God is like, I trust that only what God has created is true and real. And so that's all that's really happening. And so I don't need to fight against what's happening. I don't need to be afraid of it. I don't need to worry about it. I don't need to try to figure it out. And I don't need to try to change it. And I don't need to try to fix it. And I don't need to try to run from it or hide from it or fight against it. I don't. It's not true.
It's the exact opposite of do.
It's the exact opposite of do.
Not what do I do?
Right.
You bring safety. What do I do? I don't do. I do.
Exactly. I just trust. I rest in God. I trust that only what God has created is real and true. And what is real, I don't have to do anything about. All I have to do is just let it be. Accept it. Rest into it. That's why so thank you for bringing that up, because it's like, I rest in God. What the heck does that mean? And why is it that resting in God could do all that? That's why. Because when you rest in God, what you're saying is only what God created is true and real. And everything that God created that's true and real is only loving and only happy. And so I don't need to do anything except allow the truth to be true, which is the same thing as saying I rest in God. The truth is true. There is nothing I need to worry about. There's nothing I need to do. There's nothing I need to change. The healing is just to accept what God has already created as reality for everyone and everything, everywhere, and all time.
Yeah.
I don't have to do anything. That's why in that section called I Need Do Nothing, it says that you could spend 100 years meditating on escaping from the body. He says, or you could spend 1 moment accepting I need do nothing. And you could get all the benefits of what it would have taken you 100 years of meditating at detachment from the body. 1 instant of realizing I need do nothing. Isn't that deep? Because 1 moment of realizing I don't need to do anything is your perfect acknowledgement that only what God has created is true and real. All power is of God. What is not of God has no power to do anything. It's not even true. It's not even real. And you have accepted reality. You have accepted the truth for yourself. You have recognized yourself. And now all you have is peace and stillness and happiness, no matter what's going on around you. So thanks for bringing up the rest, the definition of rest. That's why it is that for 1 moment, resting in God accomplishes all that we just read. Beautiful. Anything else? Any other questions or comments on these first 2 paragraphs?
It's really ironic that you said meditation and you only need 1 instant, because I was in a meditation class the other day, and I hadn't even thought about the course for years, but I just got zapped with that original quote.
Whoa.
Really could be threatened, nothing that really exists to lies the peace of God. And I wanted to share it with that meditation group. Sure enough, what guy was leading it's like, I got the course right here. I was also listening to one of your classes on YouTube, and it said be happy enough where God wants to hang out with you. Like, he doesn't want to hang out with some psycho going around. Like, you need a place where he wants to come hang out. And every spiritual thing I've been doing, it was just been a battle with that thing.
That's awesome. Thank you. It's beautiful. Thank you. Always when I hear people say things from previous classes, it always cracks me up. I go, who was that? Yeah. So you see here that peace and safety and happiness literally comes from knowing the truth or recognizing the truth, remembering the truth. That's where peace and safety and happiness comes from, no matter what's going on. Peace and safety and happiness does not come from reorganizing the people, places, and things in your life, or controlling them, or changing them. You know, it comes from knowing the truth. It's basically, it just comes down to that. If you know the truth, if you remember the truth, then you have peace no matter what's going on. That's why the most important thing is the acceptance of the truth for yourself. The one responsibility of the miracle workers is to accept the truth for themselves. You know, okay, beautiful. Thank you guys for sharing that. Would you like to share your story about,
Sure.
really powerful story.
And you know, just like Spirit often does, you can read the course for 20 years or so. And then you go back and you read something else and you go, whoa. So decades ago, I was doing the course and I owned a small little funky hair salon. And we, on our walls, we would put local artists up, photos, whatever. And one day I opened the shop and I noticed there was a guy sitting on the bench in the shop. Okay, so I walked in, and then shortly after he walked in and he walked up to me, put a cone in my neck. And he said, this is how he said, let's just make this as quick as possible. And I thought he wanted a quick haircut. So anyway, then I was like, oh God. I said, we don't have a cash register or anything like that. We're all independent contractors. He didn't believe me. I emptied out my wallet. I gave him my jewelry. And then I realized there was nothing left that I could give him. And I looked up at, there was a photo on the wall of myself and my two sons from this artist. And I looked at that photo and I said, I rest in God. And he sat down. And he said, I never was going to hurt you. He said, I was just desperate. And then I sat down next to him. And this line that hit me again, it was, this thought has the power to wake the sleeping truth in you, whose vision sees beyond appearances to that same truth in everyone else. He got it.
It woke the sleeping truth in him.
He got that.
That story still gives me chills.
Yeah.
That is incredible.
And so I just sat next to him and I said, you know, blah, blah. I know what it feels like to be desperate, you know. And my first client was about to show up. And I told him that. I said, you better leave. And he did. But yeah, that's what this lesson will always remind me of.
That's an incredible story and testimony about this lesson.
Yeah.
Somebody who had a gun in your neck literally sat down next to you and said, no, I'm just desperate.
Yeah.
And then left when you asked him to.
And then left. Yeah, but that what I got was that it woke it in him.
Yes, it woke the sleeping truth in him, even without him understanding what it meant,
Right.
even without you understanding what it meant.
Right.
That's
I
right.
just thought I was a goner. Okay.
Right. Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Thank you for sharing that.
Sure.
Okay. All right. Okay. So paragraph 3. I rest in God, completely undismayed. This thought will carry you through storms and strife, past misery, and pain, past loss, past death, and onward to the certainty of love, to the certainty of God. Whew, it can do all that. It's like the Ginsu knife of miracles. It can do all that. But don't buy yet. There's more. There is no suffering this idea cannot heal. And also, there's no problem which it cannot solve. And not only that, but there is no appearance but will turn to truth before the eyes of you who rest in God. Man, oh man. It really is like the Ginsu of miracles. Now, I may be dating myself. You younger folks may not know about the Ginsu knife commercials from my childhood. See, everybody's laughing is around my age. Hey now, sorry. Don't mean to be giving you away. Wow, that is amazing. Okay. And what a beautiful testimony for what it does. I mean, a real life testimony right there. Okay. Now, this is the day of peace. Did you know that? Who knew? I didn't even have that on my calendar. Why is this a day of peace? Because today you rest in God. And while the world is torn by winds of hate, your rest remains completely undisturbed. That's because yours is the rest of truth. Ooh, you can only rest in truth. The only time you can really rest and have peace, no matter what kind of turmoil is going on, no matter what problems, the only way you can truly rest in safety and peace is by knowing the truth. The only thing that comforts you, the only thing that really heals you, the only thing that brings you safety, no matter what's going on, is truth. The only thing that really makes one happy is truth. That's where happiness comes from. That's where love comes from. That's where safety comes from. That's where abundance comes from. This all comes from truth. It's like, and is knowing the truth about ourselves, has that been our happiness plans and strategies?
No.
Anyone? I've got a great strategy for how I'm going to be successful and happy in life. And it has nothing, there's no mention of truth. Ever. It's like, I'm going to get this job and I'm going to get this kind of money, power, fame, and and then I'll be happy. Right. But of course, Miracles is telling us happiness comes from knowing the truth about yourself, which is the truth about everybody. And that's the truth about everything that everybody shares. Wow. And so I love hearing that. Today you will have peace because today you're going to rest in God. And while the world is torn by winds of hate, your rest remains completely undisturbed. Isn't that the perfect description of the world torn by winds of hate? Isn't that the perfect description? Who could describe the world better than that? And to think it's always been like that. You know, it's always been torn. That's why the Course says the world is weary and worn out and ready to return to the dust from which it came, because it's always being torn by winds of hate. Wow. But even still, our rest remains completely undisturbed. I will take some of that. Yours is the rest of truth. What does it mean to say yours is the rest of truth? It means appearances cannot intrude on you. Whatever it seems like is going on, no matter how bad it seems, no matter how much the appearances are like, well, nobody could be happy if this is going on. It don't matter. It says appearances cannot intrude on your peace because yours is the peace of truth. And not only this, but when you are experiencing resting and you're experiencing peace, your rest, in your rest, you call to all to join you in your rest. When you rest, there's an automatic call that goes out. It's an automatic call that goes out to everyone to also rest and feel safe and be happy every moment that you are resting in truth. It's an automatic call that goes out into the world through you. Isn't that cool? So when you rest, you do not rest alone.
Because we're joined.
Because we're joined. So when I am resting in truth, I am calling to everybody to join me in my rest, the rest of truth. That's so good. And everybody will hear you and everybody will come to you because you're resting in God, which is resting in the truth about yourself. And everybody, they will not hear another voice but yours because you gave your voice to God. And since you gave your voice to God, now you rest in God and now you let God speak through you. Isn't that interesting? When you rest in God, when you rest in the truth in you, literally now God speaks through you. Now God speaks through you.
Right.
To whoever you're around, to whoever God sends you, whoever is near you. That God speaks, lets God speak through you. When you are resting in the truth of who you are, that allows God to speak through you. Isn't that beautiful? I love that. And the experience of God, which is love, speaking through you, nothing feels better. Can I get a witness? When love is speaking through you, does anything feel better?
No.
Nothing. No, nothing feels better when love is speaking through you. Nothing feels better. Nothing's more satisfying. Nothing.
That's right.
Nothing. Now, in God, here's another reason why when you rest in God, all your problems are solved and you experience stillness and happiness and peace no matter what's going on. It's because in God, you don't have any cares. In God, you don't have any concerns. In God, you don't have any burdens. In God, you don't have any anxiety. And in God, you don't have any pain. And in God, you don't have any fear of future and you don't have any past regrets. What would that be like? To have no fear of future and no past regret. What would that feel like?
What a relief.
What a relief. What a relief. No past regrets, no fear of the future. Wow. No anxiety, no concerns, no burdens, no care, no pain. Let's just breathe on that for a moment. Just to even hear that that's a possibility is a freaking miracle. We know we don't believe that yet, but even just to hear that that is a possibility for us, that we can experience that state of mind, that kind of peace, no cares, no burden, no anxiety, no fear, no past regrets, no concern about the future. Wow. Just hearing about that is a miracle. It's a miracle. Because now you can never unhear that. You've just heard that that is possible, and you've heard how it can occur for you. So you can't unhear that. So no matter what kind of fear or anxiety that you experience from this point forward, there's a part of you that knows and remembers that you could have peace even still. That truth seed has been planted. Wow. That means that the ego can never claim you for long anymore. You may be tempted, but you cannot forget for long anymore. Yes, ma'am.
I just wanted to share that I can't remember who suggested this to me, but to say this, I rest in God before going to sleep. It's a prayer before going to sleep.
Yes.
In part for all the reasons that we're talking about here. To not be worried about the future or agonize over the past, all of those things, to and by telling myself the truth, a truth.
Yes.
This truth, or going to sleep.
Mhm.
And I like the idea that I've come to associate with that my work can go on while this body is sleeping.
That's right. Yeah, that's a beautiful thought. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing, amazing thing to do before bed. And anytime, imagine going through your day and you're just relaxed, you're just peaceful. You are full of trust, in that the truth is true, and the truth protects you always and in all ways. And so you walk through the world fearless, and you walk through the world calm, without anxiety. This is telling us how to be here, but not be full of anxiety, not be full of fear and worry. And I mean, I hear that and I'm like, is that real? Is that for real? Right? But this is real. It's the peace that's real. It's the anxiety and the fear and the regret and the worry that's not real. It's not real. It's not true. It's not based on reality. It's completely unnecessary. It's not needed at all. It's the peace, the lasting peace that passes your ability to comprehend. That's what's natural. That's what's real. That is what makes sense. We just have it all backwards. This is upside down and backwards world. Where everything that is true seems upside down and backwards. Okay. All right. Okay, then it says, when you rest in God, in timelessness you rest. So I'm in paragraph 5, sentence 2. In timelessness you rest, while time goes by without its touch upon you. Because your rest can never change in any way at all. It reminds me, Connor, you and I were laughing before class. I was about how I've always said that A Course in Miracles is the ultimate anti-aging program. Because while you're resting in God, time goes by you without its touch upon you. Now that's better than any facial cream that there is out on the market today, including one with methylene blue.
How much of rest do?
Exactly, for you. Exactly. The only reason you haven't heard about it yet is because nobody can patent it and make money off of it. That's why you haven't heard of it. Why haven't I heard of this?
You get the color of blue.
Exactly. All right. So if you are having issues with time's going too fast, I don't have enough time, look what time's doing to me. If you have any of those issues with time, grievances with time, this is a way for time to pass you by. Like, doesn't even see you. It just passes you by without even touching you. Man, that motivates my female ego big time. It's like, oh, I will rest in God now. I can afford that. I can afford that beauty regimen. Okay, I love it. Beautiful. Okay, in God, no, it's okay. Now is paragraph 6. Says, you rest today. And as you close your eyes, sink into stillness. And let these periods of rest and respite reassure your mind that all your mind's frantic fantasies were but the dreams of fever that have passed away. Whew. Wow. I love it. So every time you rest in God, you're reassuring your mind. You're reassuring your mind. You are calming your mind. Does anybody need some mind calming? Every time you rest in God, you are calming your mind. You are reassuring your mind that all your mind's frantic fantasies were nothing but the dreams of a fever that has passed away.
Are you reading from the purple book?
Mm-mm. Is that not in the blue book? Oh, interesting.
No, it's still paragraph 5. You said paragraph 6.
Oh, sorry. Thank you.
No, I'm 5.
Thank you.
But I do read
Thank you. And I'm in paragraph 6. All right. Okay. So if all of these periods where we rest in God, if they are calming our mind like this, then how about we let our mind be still? To rest in God means to let your mind be still and thankfully accept your mind's healing. That's another definition of what it means to rest in God. I'm going to let my mind be still for a moment. I know that's difficult. Still mind? What? What's that? I'm going to let my mind be still. Isn't that interesting? I'm not going to make my mind be still. I'm going to let my mind be still. And I'm going to thankfully accept my mind's healing. So every time you let your mind be still, you are accepting your mind's healing. What heals a mind? Letting it be still for a moment. Our minds are like, please, 1 minute, 1 moment, please. May I rest? Is that okay? I work my ass off for you all day long, 24/7. Can't I just rest? Is it okay? We have to let our minds rest. And when you let your mind rest from all its frantic fantasies, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to make this happen, and this is going to happen, it's going to be like this, it's going to be great, and then I'm going to make this, it's got to do this. All your mind's frantic fantasies of what all you've got to do to be happy, and how everybody else has got to change for you to be happy. There's a lot of frantic fantasies going on. That's why your mind's never still. And your mind wants to rest, because when you allow your mind to rest from your frantic fantasies, then now your mind can accept its healing. Isn't that neat? I don't have to do anything to make myself happy or get healed. I just need to let my mind rest. It's just like with the body. You let your body rest, your body knows how to heal. Your body is self-healing, but it can only do it when you let your body rest. Same thing with your mind. Same thing with your mind. Like we've heard that concept about our bodies, right? The body needs rest to heal. We've all heard that, right? But we hadn't heard that about our minds. Okay. So this is a way to allow your mind to rest from all its frantic fantasies about what you got to do and what other people got to do for you to be happy. And then, hey, healing happens automatically. Yes.
Use the analogy of letting the body rest,
Mm-hmm.
to letting the mind rest.
Yes,
But to keep the body healthy, you need to rest, but you also need to exercise.
that's right.
So you need to exercise it in the right ways.
That's right.
So you've got to exercise that mind in the right ways.
That's right.
And let it rest also.
That's exactly right.
It's not living in this state of,
Yes, that's exactly right.
so it's a combination, rest, exercise.
That's exactly right. And what's your name, by the way?
You know,
I do. What's your name?
William McGee.
Oh my God! I did not. I didn't recognize you. I didn't recognize you.
December 2012, when I walked into this place and I met you for the first time.
Wow.
That's when I started on the course in Thanksgiving of 2012.
Wow.
And I was in Pittsburgh visiting a son, and I was reading a PDF version of the Course in Miracles. And I picked up a link to it through Eckhart Tolle's Power Now.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to Pittsburgh and I was reading, my son didn't know what I was up to. And I went to a meetup group there with the course. Then I came back and I started digging on the internet and I found this place and then I came here.
Wow.
And that was where I started.
Amazing. Thank you so much. I'm so glad I asked. I really literally didn't recognize you. I see your wife on Facebook all the time, you know,
Yeah.
but welcome back. Are you just visiting?
We're for the day, we're in for the weekend.
Okay.
Yeah. Maria's with her daughter.
All right.
I just thought I'd stop in here.
I'm so glad you did. Thanks for being here, sweetie.
Yeah.
Thanks. Wonderful to have you. Yeah. Beautiful. All right. Okay. So here we go. So I'm still in paragraph 6 and now I'm on sentence 5. Now that you have let your mind be still and you thankfully accept your mind's healing, no more fearful dreams will come. Why? Now that you rest in God, no more fearful dreams will come. So, given all that, you may want to take some time today. Now that we've heard what all this does, you maybe want to take just a little time today to slip away from dreams of fear and into peace. If that's a thing, you can do that. You can slip away from dreams of fear and into peace.
I think I should put it on my calendar.
Exactly. I'm gonna have to schedule that on my calendar. Okay, like 15 minutes. I'm gonna slip away from dreams of fear and into peace. I'm gonna set my little alarm for it. And then the alarm comes. I'm like, what did I set that alarm for? Now I need an alarm to set the alarm to remember what that alarm was for. That's how much my mind slips away. Oh. But, and I just wanted to say that relative to that comment, Mike, about the mind exercising, trying to rest your mind. Now, is there anything more difficult? Talk about exercising the mind, trying to let your mind rest. That's some exercise, right? How long can you allow your mind literally to just hold one peaceful thought? How long? 1 second, I don't know, 30 seconds if I'm like really focusing on it before the ego thoughts come in, you know. So working on letting your mind rest from your dreams of fear, your frantic fantasies, that takes an effort. That's the exercise. So thanks for mentioning that.
And part of the exercise too is follow the course of lessons and doing the daily.
Yes,
this,
that's right.
every 3 hours that,
Mhm.
or what have you, each lesson points out and wants you to do something specifically, not let your mind rest.
That's right.
Specifically
Apply.
apply some part of the lesson
Yes.
and do it throughout the day.
That's right.
That to me is the exercise.
That's right.
The rest is sit there trying to get that moment.
Yes.
And
That's
that
right.
moment is what I always tell people, don't tell someone that you need a second to do something. Tell them you need a moment, because that could be a sub-second to a moment in history.
Very good. I'm gonna have to remember that one because I do like, oh, give me a second. I'll be there in a second. And then I'm sure my husband's like, yeah, right. I know how long a second is for that. All right. So that's the exercise. Take some time today to slip away from your frantic fantasies, your dreams of fear, and let your mind slip into peace. Isn't that beautiful? What a beautiful image. So good to know that we can do that. And to me, Course in Miracles taught me how to meditate. To me, that I learned how to meditate from A Course in Miracles, especially from the workbook.
Mm-hmm.
And so this for me is the best meditation practices anywhere for me. You know, there's like, okay, I can do this meditation practice, right? Okay. So paragraph 7, each hour that you take your rest today, guess what happens? A tired mind is suddenly made glad. Somewhere, a tired mind is suddenly made glad. Here's what else happens every time you rest in God. A bird with broken wings begins to sing. Isn't that beautiful? You know, maybe that's somebody you know. Maybe that bird with a broken wing is you. But somewhere a bird with a broken wing begins to sing again. And every time you rest in God, a stream, long dry, begins to flow again. Isn't that beautiful? Wow. And every time you take a moment to rest in God, the world is born again. Each time you rest, which means hourly remember that you came to bring the peace of God into the world so that the world might take its rest along with you. Isn't that beautiful? Who knew that just letting your mind rest for a moment, to let it rest in the truth in which there's nothing to fear? Who knew that what it does for the whole world, for a bird with broken wings, a stream long dry? Maybe you were that stream long dry, you know? Wow.
What would happen if a community chose to rest together?
What would happen if a community chose to rest together? I think we should do that before we're done.
The center?
Yeah, that's right. Very good. Good job, Nick. Good catch there. Good catch. It's almost like that was like a setup right there.
Spirit said it.
Totally. Yeah. Okay, that's beautiful. Now, but that's not all that happens. Remember, this is like the Ginsu knife of miracles. That's not all that happens when you take a moment to allow your mind to rest and slip into peace, the peace that comes when you accept the truth. It's paragraph 8. With each 5 minutes that you rest today, the whole world is nearer waking. Wow. So if you do that, how are you going to feel about yourself? How are you going to feel about yourself if this is what you're doing for the world? You're going to feel pretty good about yourself. You know, your self-esteem is going to take a big ascension there. And, oh yes, dear.
I'm sorry. I love this idea.
It's a lovely idea, isn't it?
Better.
It's a lovely idea.
Can you explain how? How does that work?
Yeah, it's telling us how. It's been telling us all along that when you rest in God, you're trusting and you're giving your faith that to the truth that only what is of God is real and true and has any power to do anything. You know, which is in essence the truth that I don't need to be afraid. I don't need to worry, right? So when you rest in God, you are resting in truth. You know, only the truth can rest your mind. Yes.
You can also look at it from the perspective of where I put my attention grows.
Very good.
Right, and so if I have a frequency to add to the universe,
Yes.
and I am focusing on the chaos and the fear, I'm adding energy into that.
Very good.
If I'm choosing to trust and to rest, then my energy is withdrawn from that and it's weaker.
Yes. Beautiful. Good answer. Yes.
Another metaphor for exactly what she's talking about is there's a section in the text called the Little Garden, which I interpret as making space in my mind where I'm acknowledging the truth. And by visiting that space regularly and frequently, that space is growing up to take the place of my ego thinking.
Yeah. Thank you. And then the other thing to remember, Shay, also, is that the Course in Miracles says you come to understand what it's talking about only when you do it. You know.
No rest.
Yeah, exactly. Like you'll be like, oh, that's what it meant. You know, it says only the use of the ideas will show me that they're true, meaning that will explain to me how and why it works, what it really means. So don't give yourself the pressure of thinking that you have to understand what it's saying or how that could be before you use it. Yeah. So So you try it and then you come back and report to us. Okay. Yes, Terry.
I think it also reflects that we are connected, we're all one, so that when you rest in God, you're putting the energy out to the universe that you were connected, and so we're all resting in God. You're giving a little bit of salt to the pot.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
To your point, when I first read that, two thoughts. There's no such thing as time, and thoughts are things. And then, somehow I just let that settle in, and I thought, we'll cook, we'll make it a while, it'll come up with something, but it was just, yeah, because I didn't really get that at first, but I thought, okay, somehow this works. Yeah, there's no such thing as time. God knows, I don't, so I'm gonna trust.
I love at the very beginning of the course, it tells us we don't have to believe it.
That's right. Exactly. Exactly. And then Mary, what were you going to
What I
say?
was gonna say is there's many times when I read it and I argue with it. I say, really, oh no, that's not, that's just garbage.
Mhm.
But then you have to practice it. If you practice it, even though you don't believe it, then when it comes back, when you actually do what the course says, even though you don't believe it, then you believe it, because what gets reflected back to you is something entirely different than what you're used to seeing.
Mhm.
And that adds to your trust. And that adds to your
Yeah,
trust.
adds
So
to
you
your
have to be
trust.
willing to do it first, not knowing if it's gonna work.
Exactly. Exactly. Thank you guys. You guys are awesome. It's wonderful to be able to, with my new little camera, I can get you guys too. And the people watching, wish that they could hear you guys better,
Yeah.
and so at some point we should,
They hear better, actually.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so, so beautiful. Thank you for sharing. All right. So, okay. So it says that, the other thing that happens in paragraph 8 is with each 5 minutes that you rest today, the world is nearer waking. And the time when rest will be the only thing there is comes closer to all worn and tired minds. All worn and tired minds that are too weary now to go their way alone. And these folks that are worn and tired and too weary now to go their way alone, they will hear the bird begin to sing. And they will see the stream begin to flow again with hope reborn and energy restored to walk with lightened steps along the road that suddenly seems easy as they go. Is what happens every time you take your rest and rest in God. That's what you give to the world. That is what you give to the world. All those who who are weary and worn and too afraid to go their way alone, all of a sudden their hope is reborn. Their energy is restored to walk with lightened steps along the road that suddenly seems easy as they go. What could be a better gift to give to the world than that? And what is it that we have wanted more than to give something like that to the world, to humanity? Everybody wants to give something loving. Everybody wants to help. Everybody at their core wants to help humanity to be restored to happiness. Everybody wants to do that, but everybody's like, yeah, but what could I do? I'm just one person. I'm busy, So what could I do? So this is telling us this is what you can do to help the whole world. And you don't even have to leave your house. You can be in your pajamas.
You need an hour to get ready.
You don't need an hour to get ready to save the world. I don't have to use an hour to get ready to save the world. Right on. That's the perfect answer for me. Yes, Mike.
Anyhow, we was talking here and someone said, question came up, the world is nearer awakening. I always go back in my mind to the beginning of the course and the principles of miracles. No miracles is greater than another.
Mhm.
Miracles continue to go on.
Right.
And I always like to say, just saying good afternoon to somebody on a bus with a smile, we get an afternoon back. You've enlightened them, you made them feel better, and maybe they say good afternoon to another person. This paragraph's all about.
Mhm.
You know, you become rested, you become peaceful, you make somebody else peaceful, that person makes another, that miracle just goes on and on.
That's right.
That's what the Course in Miracles is all about. So this is, to me, is like the synopsis of the Course in Miracles.
Beautiful. I love that. This is a perfect synopsis of A Course in Miracles, the healing curriculum that it is. Absolutely. Well said. Okay, so now we're in paragraph 9, and there's only 2 more paragraphs left. Okay, paragraph 9. You rest within the peace of God today. And while you're doing that, you call upon your brothers and your sisters from your rest to draw them to their rest along with you. You will be faithful to your trust today, which means you will forget no one, which means you will bring everyone into the boundless circle of your peace, which is the holy sanctuary where you rest. When you rest in God, you make a holy sanctuary of your mind that draws other people to their rest. Woo-wee. How would you like your mind to be a holy sanctuary that draws people from all over the world to their rest? That's what I want to do. Man, that would feel great. It says, and then I love it how it says, you will be faithful to your trust today. You will forget no one. So now we're paragraph 9, sentence 3. So given all that, open the temple doors. That's your mind. Open the doors of your mind and let your brothers and sisters come from far across the world and near as well. Your distant brothers and sisters and your closest friends, bid them all enter here in your holy sanctuary of rest in your mind. Bid them all enter here that they may rest with you. That is what you do. That is what your mind becomes when you rest in God.
Yeah.
Amazing. My mind becomes a holy sanctuary that draws and calls to everyone near and far to come rest with me in my holy sanctuary of peace in my mind. Who knew that you could do all that with just saying, I rest in God? Isn't that amazing? This is A Course in Miracles. This is A Course in Miracles. This is why this is a miraculous curriculum, because you are able to do miracles with the smallest of effort. Miracles that go and extend across the world. Hard to believe, isn't it? But that's why this calls itself A Course in Miracles, where you can do things that you would have never in a million years dreamed that you could do for people all over the world. Wow. And let me tell you, there are some birds with broken wings around this world.
Yes.
There are some streams that have long been dry around this world. There are some worn and weary beings who are too weary now to go their way alone. There's a lot of those all around this world. And this is telling us how we can help them. We can call them back to their rest to help them remember who they are. Wow. Okay, last paragraph. You guys are amazing. You're all still awake. Nobody has thrown any shoes at me. Nobody has run out of here screaming. This is A Course in Miracles. This is A Course in Miracles. All right, paragraph 10. I just want to say hi, Shahira, and hi, Jean, and hi, Sydney. So wonderful to see all you guys in here. I love it. Hi, Naya and Tony. So happy to see you guys. Thanks for being here. Okay. I love it. Sydney says, yes. That's all you need to say. Okay. Paragraph 10. You rest today within the peace of God. The peace of God, which is quiet and unafraid. And each brother or sister comes to take their rest. And when they come to take their rest from your rest, they offer rest to you. And that's because we rest together here in this holy instant where we rest in God. We're resting together. Why? Because our rest is made complete. And what we give today, we have received already. Time is not the guardian of what we give today. So we've heard what all we give when we rest in God, and time puts no limits on that. You can, like he says at some point, right? What does it mean to say time puts no limits? Time is not the guardian of what we give today. What does that mean? It means when we rest in God, we give to those unborn, those who haven't been born yet, and we give rest and peace to those who passed by, and we give rest and peace to every thought of God, and we give rest and peace to the mind of which these thoughts were born and where they rest, which is God. And we remind everybody in the world, all the unborn, those who died, and everyone, we remind them all of their resting place each time we tell ourselves, I rest in God. Wow. Time is not the guardian of what we give today. You know, isn't that deep that when you do this process, you are giving peace to those who aren't even born yet, and to those who've already left the body, and to everybody in between. That's incredible. How is it that you can just choose to rest your mind in truth and then give peace to folks who aren't even born, people who died from their body, left their body, everybody all around the world, all the weary, all the worn, all the sick, all the tired.
Proof we aren't a body.
That is proof we are not a body. That is proof that we are not a body. Absolutely. If I can think one thing in my mind, and it blesses everyone, even those who aren't even born yet, those who are planning on coming, and those who've left. That's amazing. That's proof that we're not a body. Okay. All right. Well, so it's 12:21. How about we do something really weird and actually do what it said to do?
Radical.
I know that's radical. Come to a course class and actually read the book and then actually do what it said to do. I know that's very radical, but let's be radical, eh?
All right.
That's what it's going to take today.
Radical rest.
Radical rest. I like that. Okay. So before I do that, before we start to do some announcements, and then we'll do this. Let's do the love offering and the announcements now before we rest in God. All right. Thank you for passing that around. And thank you guys. Thank you guys for supporting the Miracle Center. And if you guys watching would like to make a financial expression of appreciation to the Miracle Center, that we may do this and extend these ideas to the world more, then you can go to our website, RockyMountainMiracleCenter.org, and you can make a donation there. And thank you very much for doing that. We deeply appreciate it. We see this center, the Miracle Center, as a teaching and healing temple for A Course in Miracles ideas. And what could be more helpful to the world than to have a center where people from all over the world can come and learn these life-saving, world-saving ideas. You know, and how many Course in Miracles teaching centers are there around the world?
Not many.
One.
Thank you. Not enough.
Yeah.
Honestly, I mean, think about the value of this building, this Course in Miracles Center. You know, this is a center, this is a place where people from all over the world can hear these life-saving, world-saving ideas. I mean, and what, besides the ideas in A Course in Miracles, do you think that our world needs more right now? Anything? Yeah, exactly. Like this world right now, the one that is full of turmoil, it's always on the brink of another world war, it's always on the brink of another war. What does this world need more than ideas like this? And a place that teaches these ideas to people all over the world, it has a value we haven't even begun to grasp yet, in my perception. So truly, thank you for supporting the Miracle Center. Thank you guys online for supporting the Miracle Center. You're literally supporting the awakening of the whole world from the turmoil that the world is in now, for real, you know. So on behalf of the planet, thank you. Thank you. Okay, so, and then our workshop, yes, will you tell them about that?
So our next play shop is May 3rd, and this month's theme is cultivating miracles through community connection. And really looking at what we were even talking about today is how do we, in this chaos and in this time where it seems like the world around us is out of control, how do we cultivate community of truth and community and create safety and love and peace through the power of community? So I have the flyers. Unfortunately, I didn't have the ability to print the flyers, but if you have desire to look at it, come see me after and I'll point you to the URL so you can get in and look at it.
Yes, and it's a once monthly, the first Saturday of every month that we're going to be doing this.
From 10 to 3, sorry.
From 10 to 3. So every month. So this is a chance for us as a community to get together and to go deep for longer than an hour and a half, where we can apply the ideas together, play with the ideas together, join with each other in the ideas, and take our practice of A Course in Miracles deeper with each other, creating this miraculous healing community. That is a miracle. This community is a miracle.
So, several people in here today. We're in our first one.
That's right. That's right. So the next one, May 3rd. All right. Okay, great. So we've just got a few more minutes. So let's actually practice resting in God. Yeah. So we're actually going to do what it said to do, and we're going to get the results that it says comes from that. All right. So I want you to close your eyes and take a breath. And just notice how you feel right now, having heard these ideas. All right. So I want you to just say to yourself, I ask for rest today. And then I want you to tell yourself, I ask for a quietness unshaken by the world's appearances, or whatever appearances are frightening you today. I ask for quietness unshaken by these appearances, by what I see today. And then I want you to say to yourself, I ask for peace and stillness in the midst of all this turmoil. And take a breath. And now I want you to say to yourself, I ask for safety and happiness even though I seem to be looking on danger and sorrow right now. And I want you to say to yourself, and I have the answer. I have the thought that will answer my asking. Now I want you to say to yourself, I rest in God. Now I want you to say to yourself, I rest in truth. I rest in the truth that only what love has created is real and true. And what love has not created has no power to do anything. And that's why I'm still safe right now. And say again to yourself, I rest in God. And then I want you to imagine that this statement, I rest in God, I want you to imagine it carrying you through this storm. I want you to imagine your rest carrying you through this strife. I want you to imagine this thought, I rest in God, carrying you past this misery and past this pain and loss and death. And I want you to imagine this idea carrying you onto the certainty of love and God. I want you to see yourself as resting in God, all the while the world is torn by winds of hate. And I want you to feel this idea keeping your rest completely undisturbed. I want you to see yourself resting in God and all the world torn by the winds of hate swirling around you, but it touching you not. And as you rest in God, I want you to imagine your mind as a holy sanctuary of peace and rest. And I want you to imagine yourself opening up all the doors and windows of your sanctuary of rest. And imagine your rest extending forth out to all the weary ones, too weary to go their way alone. I want you to imagine your rest flowing out the doors and the windows of the holy sanctuary of your mind, calling others to come rest with you and take their rest with you and heal their broken bones, heal their broken wings. And I want you to imagine them bringing rest for you. And breathe. And as you rest in God, in your holy sanctuary, I want you to imagine time going by you without touching you because you are resting in God. I want you to let your mind rest from all its frantic fantasies, which were nothing more than just a fever that has passed. Let your mind rest from all its frantic, feverish fantasies about what it needed to do to be happy. I want you right now to slip from your dreams of fear and into peace. And as you look out the windows of your holy temple, your holy sanctuary of peace, I want you to look out the windows and see that bird with a broken wing begin to fly again. And I want you to look out the windows of your holy sanctuary of rest, and I want you to see that long, dry stream begin to flow again. I want you to look out the windows of your holy sanctuary in your mind, and I want you to notice that the world is being reborn again in joy and peace and safety. And I want you to look out the windows of your holy sanctuary of rest in your mind. And I want you to see all those weary and worn brothers and sisters. I want you to see them have hope reborn in them. I want you to see them, their energy restored so that they can walk again with lightened steps along the road that suddenly seems easy as they go. And I want you to tell yourself, this is the rest I have given to the world. This is my function. This is why I am here. This is me being faithful to my trust today. And I want you to see your brothers and sisters from far across the world and near as well coming to take their rest with you in this holy sanctuary where you are allowing your mind to rest in truth today. Let them come, call to them, for they bring your rest with them as well. And just breathe and feel what it feels like to rest, to allow your mind to rest in truth. And I want you to see if you can feel and hear the gratitude, the profound gratitude of all the world today to you who gave them all rest for their weary minds, broken bodies. See if you can feel their gratitude to you. See if you can feel God's gratitude to you. You have given rest to God's children, God's beloved own children. See if you can feel God's gratitude to you. And let that heal you. Beautiful. All right, you guys. And when you're ready, just open your eyes and take a breath. Way to heal the world, y'all. Way to fulfill your function. All right, give it up for yourselves. You came to hear something loving for yourself. Love yourself. Good job. Way to love yourself, you guys. I appreciate you all so much. Thank you for being here. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate you all so much. And I'll see you next time I see you.